Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this time, I would like to explain about theory report and practicum report of object-oriented programming. In the first report, for the first one, I'm gonna explain about the theory report, and this report is talking about what is OOP as well as what it classes, object, method in the OOP. And for the first one, what is OOP? Basically, OOP or Object-Oriented Programming is a programming language that was developed to address the shortcomings of procedural programming, which are procedural programming is quite difficult to maintain. The available methods are difficult to change without affecting the entire system. It takes a lot of effort to translate business models into programming models, and it may not work well when integrated with other systems. OOP was developed to address these shortcomings. And OOP has four basic principles, namely 1. Abstraction, encapsulation, polymerism, inheritance. And the second one, the material is about class. A class is a blueprint, design, prototype, or template for the object we will create. And we can create many objects from one type of class. A class defines a type of object. Within a class, we can declare many variables and create many objects. And there are several main components in class. For the first one is attribute. Fields or properties are variables used to store data to the state of an object. The second one is method. The third one constructor, and the third one access modifier. And the next one is object. An object can be simply defined as an instantiation or creation of a class. An object is a special structure because it can consist of other objects, or it can be a descendant of other objects. And the last one is method. Method in programming language other than Java are commonly known as function and procedure. A method is said to be a function if it performs a process and returns a value. A method is said to be a procedure if it only performs a process and does not return a value or void. And for the next part, I want to talk about the practicum report. And in this time, we have to explain again about OOP. And as explained in the theoretical report, OOP stands for Object-Oriented Programming. OOP differs from procedural programming, where procedural programming involves writing procedure or method that perform operation and data, while OOP involves creating objects that contain data and method. OOP has several advantages over procedural programming, namely OOP is faster, OOP provides a clear structure, OOP helps keep Java code dry, which means it avoids code repetition, and if we need it, we just can call it. And in the next part, I'm gonna explain deeply about class. A class is a blueprint, design, prototype, or template for the object we will create. For the example, I create a class called practicum. Within the class, we can also define the variable we need. For example here, I create the three variables nama practicum with a string data type, assistant with a string data type, and SKS with an integer data type. And next is object. And in this example, I create two objects, namely P1 and P2. So practicum is the template, and P1 and P2 are objects that inherit attributes or variables from the practicum class. And we can fill the values of this object according to the properties, attribute, or variable of the class. And the last one is method. In programming language other than Java, methods are commonly known as function or procedure. As shown in the image above, the method is public void display, whose function is to display the class and object that have been defined. When creating a method, we also have to call the function. This is because if it's not called in the main function, the display method will not be displayed. And the part of the practicum, we have to creating a calculator program. And in this practical exercise, I will create a calculator program with the following specification. And for the first step, I will create project named Data Mahasiswa, create under the Java with N category, and the project the type Java application. Data Mahasiswa will be the main class of the program I create. And the second step is that I will make another file, namely Operasi Matematika. And Operasi Matematika will also become a class in newly created file. And the third step, I create the main class named Data Mahasiswa using the public keyword. And the fourth step, after declaring the main class, I will declare the attribute or variables owned by Data Mahasiswa class, where I declare nama mahasiswa, name mata kuliah, with a string data type because the data will be filled with words, symbol, or numbers. And X and Y with the double data type because the input or output data can be the number or fractions. And the fifth step, I create the main method, which is where the program is executed. And the sixth step, after creating the main method, I create a new object in the Data Mahasiswa class named M1. This object is used to store student data and the values of the two variables X and Y. And next, after the object created, we can input data into attribute or variables in the Data Mahasiswa class and in the M1 object. After it, I create a new object from another class called Operasi Matematika and I name the object math. This object will be used to call mathematical methods such as add, sub, mul, or etc. from other classes. After that, I will create type of collection system out println used to print new lines in the terminal. And this is the explanation of each line. And this is the display. This is the result of the first file, that is the main class named Data Mahasiswa. Okay, let's move to the next file. Next, I will implement 5 methods in the Operasi Matematika class, that is add, sum, mul, div, and mode. These methods have different functions. The add method accepts two parameters x and y of the type double, then returns the sum x plus y. Sub is x min y, and mul x multiple y, and div x divided by y. And in this case, that is divided. This method also implements an if condition structure. If the value of y is equal to 0, then execute the command in the if block. This is because in mathematics, division by 0 is not allowed, as the result is undefined system out println will display. And this is the result of the file number 2. And after we run it, it will display data mahasiswa, nama mahasiswa Jenia Kusina Rahman, NIM, mata kuliah, operasi matematika, with each value of each method. And that's all about the practicum report. Thank you for watching.